Record. All right, so let's welcome to the show. Let's hope
PAGpresents.com.
that's funny. That's the wrong promo. What up? Now, anyway, so let's welcome back Miss Renea Ryan. We're gonna try to do this again because the first time we tried to do this, the first time we did this, had some audio issues and whatever. Anyway, but we're back. We're gonna do it again, and you're looking amazing. What's going on? You got a little like you either got a lot to say or your energy is up and up today. What's going on?
I think I finally have started to just let go of things repressing me and my soul, and feels nice.
Nice. So what have you been up? So it's been about 6 months since the last time we spoke?
Yeah. Has it been about 6 months? Yeah, maybe.
A while, maybe in the summer, at least in the summer.
The summer, gosh, but it's flown by so fast that it's hard to even, I don't know, it feels like a day.
It's funny, you can't remember what you did like 2 Saturdays ago. You know what I mean? It was like, what did I do 2 Saturdays ago? But yeah, unless it was like a monumental, event or whatever the case is. But yeah. So what's that? What's going on with you and in the world? What do you think of everything that's going on in the world today?
Oh man,
a lot has happened. Right now we're doing this whole gas crisis, blame it on Russia thing. We got a lot of it's crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's heartbreaking, and my heart goes out to everyone struggling, all over the world. It's just like, it feels like nobody can really get their head above water. And it's probably really difficult to find that light at the end of the tunnel, I can imagine, for so many people right now.
Yeah.
It was just COVID, and then, being isolated, and then everyone divided, and, then
yeah. Perfect time.
And now here we are.
Disorder. Yeah, a lot of disorder. So here we are.
Yeah. And I try to stay positive, though. It's really good to stay positive and look for the good and the blessings in the midst of the challenge.
Sometimes, you know what? It's best to just stay in your world. Like if everything in your world could be going great, but then when you turn on the television or when you start gossiping in other conversations, you take on other outside stress. If you sometimes just focus on what's in your circle, like what's going on in front of you, your life is great. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Tune out. Yeah, exactly. Just chill. Like sometimes you don't really need to know everything. That's our problem. We just want to know too much. And then, you know what I mean? Like we want to be in everything. What's going on over there? What's going on over there? If it don't affect your immediate reality, sometimes you got to accept that and enjoy your peace. You know what I mean? It's okay to feel, but there's something going on that has nothing to do with you. And sometimes you gotta we involve our energy in places instead of like taking care of it, you know what I'm saying, and preparing for when we may come across, some turmoil or something like that. So give out our energy too much to too many different things. You know what I mean? Sometimes we have to worry about what we could control. You know what I mean? If I can't control what's over there, my heart goes out to you, but I ain't got to tune in every 5 seconds to find out what's the deal. It's going, may the Most High be with you. There's nothing I could do watching. I'm just sitting there watching. There's nothing I can do. I'm not going to get in a plane and go over there. So why would I keep watching this shit? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's negativity breeds negativity and fear. And I think the biggest thing is to stay out of that fear and remember that, we, like you said, we don't have control over what's going on. All we can do is pray, really, and send positive wishes.
Like you gotta shift energy. So you gotta look at it like this, like energy, if there's a lot of turmoil and dark energy, you tuning into it or contributing to it, what you should be doing is trying to build a different abundance of a different energy and connecting with like-minded and building a different energy that could go against that energy, soul energy. You know what I mean? So what are you giving your energy to?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And there's so many things on a daily basis that will try to almost like roadblocks or even hurdles that will come in your path that will try to trip you up, that will try to discourage you, to pull you off of your path, to get you, in a negative mindset so that you're not able to focus on that positive purpose that you have for your life that will bring more positivity to others, because I truly believe we have gifts and talents and purpose that is ingrained and unique to us. And it's from a positive place. And if we can continue to kind of dig into that on a daily basis, even when there's negative roadblocks, then we're able to stay in that positive space.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about, sometimes we just got to take care of self before we can take care. You know how they be like, strap on yourself in the airport, like, or take care of yourself. If the oxygen comes down, secure your mask before you try to help somebody else. You got to secure your energy and your environment before you can't be chaotic and then go tune into some chaos. You know what I mean? It's just going to be, it's a domino of just negative energy. It's crazy. But
totally.
So
absolutely. And the cool thing is though, is if you are having chaos or, people that are going through a lot of these negative times, and pretty much the whole world's suffering in certain ways, whether it be financially or relationally or emotionally, just in any way possible, or with their health, physically, just remembering that piece that, there is a higher power that's with you. There is a positive experience that can come out of it, and learning that, this isn't because you deserve it. You're not bad. There's no.
Yeah, you know what it is. You're a person that you have a background of understanding and studying the mind and how behaviors and things of that nature. And it's like there's not enough of that being spoken on mainstream platforms or being shown to people. It's more of just sex in a certain way. You know what I mean? There's a certain way to sell sex that they sell it to you. But it's sex, it's alcohol, it's a good time, it's money.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just sell you so many different other things instead of a positive way how to deal with certain things and how to understand and break things down. So it's so much disorder, and then they sell you violence, and then they selling you war, and then they selling you, so everything is a rush. Those things are certain hormones that's being tickled.
Activated. Yeah.
Activated, and that's being stimulated. That's the word I was looking for. That's being stimulated. That's gonna make you react and do things a certain way, and it's gonna make your body always be in fight or flight mode, always ready. Like it's always just up and going. You're never finding no peace, no balance, or there is no balance of any alternative way for your body to feel. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. And you're absolutely right. And that's the thing. There's these temporary fulfillments that will numb that pain, and ultimately, like, working through the pain, being a part of the awareness process that it takes to be present in it, to acknowledge how you're feeling, like how is it bringing up things maybe from the past or fears in the future, and like sitting with it. It's so hard to sit with it. And especially the more traumatizing, the easier it is just to be like, yeah, I'm going to check out with sex. I'm going to check out with multiple promiscuous relationships, or I'm going to check out with drinking or drugs, or I'm going to check out with shopping and spending money on credit cards and getting myself into more debt.
But look at it. But all of those things are pretty much everything that we said, that there's no alternative way for those people to think or look at life. There's no other opposing force or opposing lifestyle. You know what I mean? We only promote one lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's, oh, you got problems, take medication. Oh, you got this, go out and celebrate and drink. And that's how you celebrate, because the only way to celebrate something is to drink. Like, we got a culture that they believe that once a kid turns 21, they should drink. Like, oh, I drink because I can now. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what you do for a person's 20. That's your 21st birthday. Let's get you drunk, or let's go get you some drinks. That's a culture. You know?
Yeah.
So it's there is no, it's 21. You're 21. Let me teach you about learn about your chakras or different let's go on this retreat where you can learn about your body and meditation or something like that. It's not the same way. It's always promoted, fast-paced life, and it's the same fucking script, same monologue, same actors, same characters, different actors, pretty much.
Yeah, it is. It's like generational transmission. It just keeps passing down and down and down. And unfortunately, I think that we're seeing right now in the world that it just doesn't work. I mean, nobody's really truly happy if you ask them. It's like you got to compartmentalize with the next fix, the next addiction. And even those addictions are, social media, like scrolling, addiction to watching things on TV, Netflix, like it's all just a numbing system. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to say that those things that people should do them.
We all participate in them. It's just, there's no alternative. I know exactly what you're saying. Definitely. I agree.
There's other ways to be still, and being still is so hard because no one's been trained to do it and to really be in tune with who they are, to be self-aware, to know their even identity. Like I'll ask so many of my, I'm a marriage family therapist, and I'll ask so many of my clients just like, who are you? And people are like, I'm a swimmer, I'm, this, I'm a daughter, but they don't know who they are. And when we really know who we are, it's like, I'm loving, I'm empathetic, I'm a leader, I'm caring, I'm loyal, like those core qualities, like people can't even access them in who they are and who their identity is, because their identities are wrapped around what society says they should be.
The titles.
Yeah.
The titles, the mom, the swimmer, I'm the teacher, I'm the title. You're the title that they gave you. You know what I'm saying? Who were you before they told you who you were? That's the question. Who were you before they told you who you were?
Did anybody tell you?
I want to talk to that person. I want to talk to you, the real you, person behind you.
And that's the thing. We can't access who we are because it's like we're so caught up in the world and who the world is that we become the world, and we aren't even close to who we are anymore. Like you said, it's like training us into becoming a certain way. It's like brainwashing in a certain respect. And it's like people can't even wake up from it, especially the younger generations. Like you and I probably have way more awareness than a lot of younger people.
Well, we had to get to this point though.
Yeah.
Everybody has a journey, yo. So, and some of these kids are smart. They have some of the younger coaches, they have better alternatives now, because some of the things that we are talking about is becoming a little bit more mainstream, and it is being a little bit more accepted. So, the future is bright. It's not as grim as they may want to make it seem, but it's still got a long way to go. You know what I mean? It's still got it's always a journey. It's always got to be a journey.
Yeah, and I think it's good, like you said, to have the more of these conversations from people who have experienced it are passed on, the more we can kind of reprogram the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I totally agree. So what else is up, man? What's going on out there in California? We didn't sound like, I hope we didn't just depress the shit out of everybody, but
No.
that was just the direction is we just went with it. So, but what's going on out there in where are you at in California now? You're not San Diego.
San Diego, yeah. Or North County.
North County.
Yeah.
How your gas prices out there?
About $7 for a high, maybe around six is like a good one there.
Damn.
Kind of a lot.
I was out there in like November, and it was like $5, and I was bugging, but we're close to $5 out here now, so I can't even really say nothing.
Yeah, it's quite pricey, and it's just kind of restructuring, not letting it, like we were just saying, not letting it affect the daily life. Like obviously having to remember, like, all right, I probably can't drive around the whole county like 3 times today. I'm going to have to plan strategically where I'm going to go and maybe skip something, which again, maybe like, this is where I say, like, yes, this is a downfall, but this is an opportunity to also say, hey, maybe this is a good thing for me to be able to be still right now, to like relax more, to not have to go so many places. So looking at that positive, even though, because we can't control it, right? So just trying.
There's no sense to complaining about it if you're not going to do anything to change it. So, it don't make no sense to do it. So it is just, like you said, just find an alternative. Like people are gonna start appreciating their houses a little bit more this year, especially in the summer. Like everybody's just gonna be home. Like just come over.
We're gonna spray down with the hose in the front yard.
Come over. Come
on out. Kids over the pool.
Be a lot of neighborhood shit going on. Like
a lot of slip and slides out front in the front lawns.
People gonna be out playing music. It's gonna be, people walking, doing laps around the block, the cul-de-sacs and stuff. It's gonna be interesting.
Absolutely. I don't mind it. You know, I think the slower pace of life does everybody good. And
Much agree. I agree with you.
yeah, sometimes staying home, being closer to the family can be a grounding experience.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. It makes you a little stronger. Makes you focus on them a little bit more too. Cause sometimes, when we so busy trying to be involved in so many different things, we kind of push everybody to the back. So,
Absolutely.
so to be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We think of my setup and everything. I'm trying something a little different. Is it working? I think when the sun what were you gonna say?
I like it. It looks good.
Thanks. I think when the sun goes down a little bit behind me, it's gonna be because we did the daylight saving. So timing is I had a time for a different. It would if we would have did it the week that we were supposed to do it, it would have been a little dark. It would have looked a little better.
I think it looks awesome. And I like the plants you got in the background. I got a plant too back here.
I see him. He looks like you. Yeah, he looks like the only plant in the room. You need to get him a friend.
Yeah. It's I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's a plant that like kills mold in the house. It's pretty cool.
Okay. So he's more like a cat plant for you. Like you get him when, like, how people get cats to keep mice away.
Yeah.
So he's like, you wouldn't have him if you didn't have that mold, right?
Like who knows where the mold is, but
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you didn't have that concept of a mold, you probably wouldn't have the plant, right?
exactly. I mean,
It looks like it. It looks like you give
oh,
about that
yeah,
plant.
he's a nice one. I like. You only got to water him every 3 days.
Yeah, you look like you give no fucks about him. Oh, just you could just look at the room he's in. It's like you just threw him in there, and it's like you remember to water room, like, like oh shit, the plant. I forgot. It's been like.
No, I actually teach my fitness classes in here, and so I'll just take my water jug and just.
He doesn't even get a full drink. He gets whatever you don't finish. All right, I knew you didn't love him. Oh man, all right, okay. Is he the only plant in the house?
No, I got one more just like him, but he's in a smaller plant.
He's where?
He's in the other room.
Okay. You get defense plants. Most people get plants for different reasons. You got defense plants, so it's a defender.
Yeah, I'm just like, if I'm going to bring you in here, you need a certain purpose.
Yeah, you gotta serve a purpose.
You gotta serve a purpose.
Everybody pays their way here. Everybody pays their way
here. You gotta pay your way. Yeah.
You're lucky I'll water you.
Just like, my kids, they better be bringing those dishes to the sink. I tell them, I'm like, I'm not your slave.
I hear you because they
I'm not your servant. They'll call me their butler. I'm not kidding.
Oh wow, yeah. We do too much for them. It's I don't know where we went. I know where we went wrong, but that's another story. That's a whole nother half hour. I can tell you where we went wrong. We'll save that for another time.
But no, they're amazing kids. I love my kids. I love being a mom. I was gonna say I know you have kids too.
Yes.
And it's just a lot of people who don't have kids can't really understand. I mean, it's hard to be a parent in today's world and to teach them everything. And the biggest thing I do is just try to love them, keep them in a stable environment, try to shield them from all this junk in the world, and just bring out their strengths and their passions and let them have their voices and let them be kids,
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, but I also teach them that, like, responsibility and taking responsibility, like acknowledging their feelings and not holding stuff in so that they don't turn to things that, hopefully as much if they're more aware at a young age, things to kind of numb out if they can't access their emotions.
No, absolutely. And I always think like communication is always the key. Like,
Mhm.
you always try to maintain as much communication and open dialogue. You know what I mean? It's like you got to kind of have those seconds, like where you could just talk and it's like, yo, just explain without you won't get in trouble. Just 5 minutes, just get it out, and in that 5 minutes, you can whatever you say.
Right.
We'll hold that. We'll hold that. Just get it out. There's no way to get it. That's like that works to a certain age, and then after a while, it's like, all right, I don't even want to know. Just what's going on? Just give me these basics, because then the stories get too long. It's like, oh shit.
We are all day because they love to give those details,
Yeah,
right?
the details are it's very descriptive. It's very descriptive. And then it's, oh wait, I forgot. And they go back and then they read and it goes a different way. It's
Hey, the fact they give you those details though tells me that they trust you a lot.
That's why you gotta just suck it up and just say yes and smile and make sure you get it all in because you don't want to break that. You know what I mean? You don't want to break that.
And you're so right, because a lot of times when parents don't have that ability to be with their kids, they don't trust them emotionally because they've never had access to their parents' emotions. And so I think it's awesome that your kids give you 200,000 details.
Yes, they are very detailed. Like I didn't know that. I shouldn't know that. We're not, it's like, I'm
Be
gonna
grateful for those details.
no, I know. I'm like, because I'm thinking like, man, I would have never gone this far. Like it would have been like 3-word responses. Like, yeah, no, like it was okay. It was okay.
It was, yeah, I don't want to talk to you, mom and dad. Why are you talking to me? Yeah.
Oh, nah,
I hear you. I would literally just go straight to my room as a kid and be like, I got homework.
yeah,
I'm not,
like,
I don't want to talk to you.
everybody was into their own thing. I wasn't even upset. I didn't even feel deprived, like there was something wrong. It was like I could have got the attention if I wanted it, but it was like I'm cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's like all kids that get to a certain age. My oldest daughter is kind of like that now. She's kind of like, I'm doing something like she if you need me, I'll do it, but I don't really want to be here and doing this right now. I'd rather be over here. You know what I'm saying? Doing this.
Hey, I like that she tells you that. That's good.
I'd rather you tell me that than be someplace unhappy. I always say that. It's like I was the person that was like, if I bought you a gift and if you didn't like that gift, I'd rather you be like, yeah, I don't really like this shit. Cool, let's go get what you like, opposed to you just like leaving. I turn my back and you're like, what this shit? You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather you just open it up and just be like, nah, I really don't like this. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, we can either go get you another one or here's where I got it, or you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather you tell me than try to please me. So I'm like that with my kids. Like, yo, if you really don't want to be here, like, don't, you know what I mean? Because then it's in your energy. Come respecting. If you want to go to your room or if you want to go do something, you don't have to feel obligated to just be here. Because I remember being a kid, being places like just sitting there, like, why am I even here? Like, there's no other kid even here.
I'm just the only one.
Yeah, it's like I shouldn't even be here. Like,
yeah, I think a lot. I don't know if it's just me, but I remember feeling like I had to just like do whatever. It didn't matter what I wanted. I just had to put up with, well, because I said so. You just need to do it. There was no like saying what you felt, and then pretty soon it's like I don't even know what I feel because I just got to do what they're wanting.
Yeah, that sounds a little harsh. That sounds.
Yeah, that's not. I've seen a lot of. I don't know if it's just like growing up with strict parents, but having to just go with the flow, man, just to keep peace. Yeah.
I remember the last time we spoke, you were telling me that you had a very interesting past with your parents, and your parents had a very interesting relationship. And so
yeah, it makes
it makes sense. It makes sense. Why you just like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm going up here and doing this.
Yeah. But you know what? It's been great because I feel like God's really redeemed those relationships a lot more. Just through like me not betraying myself anymore, not just going with the flow, right? And it takes years of practice and years of, even as a therapist, knowing the answers, but is one thing, but being able to like act and hold those things accountable in my own life with people that have been scary at times has been hard, and also a huge growth opportunity. And knowing the right way though, like I don't get reactive and I'm not this yelling force who's gonna, make people hear me. It's more of just, I want to come at it from love and grace and say like, this is how I felt, like I want to repair this. And then obviously have boundaries around my own identity. And I think that's all we can all do as people in any relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's been awesome. Just obviously I haven't really, that's been great for a while, I think, since I've been able to access that. it's been a lot, a big stress relief.
All right. Let me ask you. So you say you're a marriage counselor, right?
Yeah.
Marriage therapist or counselor? What's the proper terminology?
Marriage family therapist. So I work with couples, individuals, and families, but I specialize in trauma and PTSD, family dynamics, and anxiety, depression.
So when you say family, it means like you include the kids?
Yeah, so kids, basically how the whole family system interacts.
Okay, so just give me like a breakdown. So like so you would have a couple come in, they would talk to you about their issues with one another.
Mhm.
And then you would bring in the kids, but the kids come in with the couple, or do the kids come in separately?
So it just depends. So my client, it would depend. If the couple came in and they wanted to work on just their relationship, I might not bring the kids into the family therapy. But if they, said, we want our whole family to get therapy, then the client would be the family itself. So everyone in the family, and I would get, everyone's like approval basically to engage in that process. And if I felt like the couple's relationship was really kind of the root of the dysfunction going on in the family, let's just say they had a really toxic relationship that had been going on for a long time, and they were coming in about the relationship and also about how it was affecting their children, what I would probably do is have the couple be my client, and then I would refer the kids out for individual therapy with someone else.
Got you.
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason why you do it that way, or is
I
that
would,
like a protocol? Like that's the way it should. That's just the way it's done.
I think, as a therapist, there's like, no specific, there's certain guidelines and ethics and things that we have to follow. But in terms of like guiding treatment, I tend to look at, we want to look at the root of the dysfunction. And so if the root problem is addressed and there's resources and tools and healing around those issues, then the symptoms should kind of dissipate elsewhere, right? So if there's a really abusive dynamic between a couple and they're fighting all the time, and then they're complaining that the kids are fighting and hitting each other, well, it's most likely that if the parents' relationship, calm down, if that dyad, those two people like calm down their system, then the whole system would calm down. Like we would stop seeing those symptoms in the kids.
Gotcha.
And then the kids might have some things to work through, but that's more of like a side thing they could do with another therapist. Whereas like I could go full force with the couple to address their symptoms in their relationship.
What do you find is like one of the most common? What's the 3 common reasons why marriages, or you find that people come to you?
Finances.
Couples.
Yeah, I would say like conflict over finances. A lot of times like communication obviously is a huge one. And sort of like hurts, like holding on to past hurts or like major ruptures. Because I do work with a lot of trauma. I see a lot of like just people holding on to things that maybe they never felt safe communicating with their significant other about. And it's been held on to for like 10 years. And now it's coming out, and let's say the partner has an affair. And so then maybe they come in because they're talking about the affair, and they're just like, their world's turned upside down. They don't know if they're going to stay together. They don't know, how to navigate any of this. And, they're hearing things from other people and, how they should handle it. And it contributes to their, depression or anxiety about it. So it's sort of just like dissecting of where did this problem root from? How did you guys get together? What was your relationship when you first got together? What were some red flags in the relationship? How did you get together? I mean, was it based on sex? Did you just come into this relationship with sex and you had no friendship? Did you try to put the sex in front of the friendship? And so you had this like sexual relationship where you only really were close when you had sex. And other than that, you didn't communicate at all, unless it was like, hey, who's doing the chores? Hey, who's picking up the kids? And so there's no real intimate emotional connection a lot of times in the couples that I work with, because they don't know how to access each other in that way, because they never had that at the beginning. And so that friendship piece was missing. And so it's kind of like starting over, rebuilding an emotional attachment, and then looking at like where in your family history, like, you know, how did your parents, your attachments with your caregivers contribute to the way that you have this attachment with your partner? And you know, did you have an avoidant attachment with maybe your mom and your dad, to where you couldn't connect to them emotionally? And so then when you got into this spousal relationship, sex was like your go-to connector, because you really want to connect, but that emotional piece was missing for you as a child, maybe, and now was really inaccessible as an adult in a partner relationship. So when they can kind of like see that roadmap of like, wow, like this connects to where, you know, why it's been this way for so long, it almost like breaks that shell around the tension. And then they're able to do work where they start to reconnect, and it can be really scary. It can be really hard. And it also takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of patience and relearning like whole new behaviors.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't want to do it. I'll tell you that.
You got to reprogram yourself. You got to reprogram yourself. You got to unlearn, and then you got to learn a whole new way to do things. You know what I mean? A whole new way to perceive reality, because you was perceiving it through, you had a whole different perception of reality and why things were the way that they were. Now that you have this complete understanding, I always said that I even before I fully understood what I was saying, I always knew understanding was the key. Like, you have to understand something completely. You got to peel your layers back, and you have to really look at yourself unbiasedly, just as you actually are. No filters, and be completely honest with yourself, and then start working from there. But you got to see it. You can't look at it through no filter, but the filter of what is, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And
so
yeah, and a lot of times people are trying to get something they didn't get from their childhood, their unmet needs met in their significant other. And that's honestly probably, like, that sums it up most of the time, is what were your unmet needs as a child? You know, maybe you didn't get enough physical touch. Maybe you didn't get enough words of affirmation. Like, first of all, like, what are your love languages? I don't know if you've heard of Gary Chapman's like 5 love languages. It's a really good book. It's the 5 love languages.
Nah, I'm saying, are they like 5? Like, number 1 is this, and then it breaks down, and number 2 is, but what are the 5?
Yeah, so you kind of take a quiz and you see what's your top ones, you know, or like physical touch, acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, and gifts, like gift giving. And so a lot of times we give the gifts to other people in our relationships that when those 5 loves that we didn't get as kids. And so that other person on the receiving end is like, I don't want gifts. Like how I loved how you were like, I don't want this gift.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much, like, just tell me straight up, I don't like this shit.
And like what they're really wanting from you, maybe, like, this is making crap up, but say that they just want you to like cuddle with them.
Yeah.
You know? And they're like, I could care less about your gift. I just want to get cuddled.
But your physical, you know, touch.
Right.
Yeah. But they may want to feel safe or something like that. So they like to feel of the arms around them and you being close to them and something like that. Yeah.
Totally. But like, imagine as a little child, not having your parent be able to see that you needed that. And
and most of the time they were preoccupied. Like, you can't even really blame the generation before us, because could you imagine, look at the world that they was given and the perception of reality that they was given, and then all of the different stresses around, you know what I mean? And temptations for people who may have been weak in certain areas and stuff like that. Like, it was
awful. Yeah. And so that's where there's grace, right? Like, they did the best they could. And like I say, like, just because we were victims of something doesn't mean it's not our responsibility to heal it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's generational. Sometimes it's like it's in the lineage, it's in the bloodline, and you there to correct it. You there to be the one in the gene pool to kind of change the trajectory of the rest of the, you know, the way, the direction everything is going. So
right, absolutely.
You'll look and you'll be running around and you'll be repeating habits of like one of your elders, like your mom, even your grandmother, or your mom or something like that, or it'll be a characteristic or something, and you'll be like, man, it's like when you really look at it, it may be a different thing, but it's the same behavior. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
so the behavior is inherited. You know what I mean? That behavior is an inherited behavior.
Absolutely. And that's why it's crazy how much our brains like soak up as kids, and it just stays with us over.
I mean, yeah, subconscious mind. You program your mind the first 7 years of your life, a child's life. You can program their mind, and they'll carry those belief systems until they discover that it's wrong and do the work to break the programming. You know what I mean? The conditioning. So
Yep.
so how many people?
And so
How many couples would you say actually make it through and actually bounce back and continue on and thrive as a couple in a relationship after? Like, what's the percentage? Just give me the percentage wise.
I'd say it's roughly like, I'd say now it depends, but nowadays, like with the culture of like, traded in for a new model, like,
Yeah.
if it's all about me and my needs that didn't get met, that's kind of like this whole thing going on where, like, oh, I didn't get any of my needs met. So if you don't meet my needs, then like, bye. But the thing is, it's like, no one can, that's what I was going to say. No one can ever meet our needs fully. Number one, especially if we don't know what they are. Number two, if we don't ask for them. And number three, everyone's always going to let us down. And it's not about like, it's about me meeting my own needs. And so if I can meet my own needs, then I can go into a relationship happy and solid and grounded with someone else who can meet their own needs. And then we can kind of collaborate in reciprocating some of those needs getting met. But if we're saying, hey, you need to meet my needs, that's codependency, like straight up, where I'm like, take care of me, be like, and like care for me. And like, then we are totally just enmeshed, and those relationships completely break down. And so when I see relationships that are kind of these fused dynamics, they rarely work out because people's expectations of the other partner is so, they can't even see how they play a role in that, if that makes sense.
No, I hear you.
And I'd say the ones that work out is when people have self-awareness and ability to say like, I see my role. I can see how I've tried to make you meet my needs and I haven't communicated what I've needed. I have parts of myself that are unhealed. And now, I want to heal those parts. Maybe I go to individual therapy for a while, heal those parts, come back to couples therapy, be able to show up as like a healthy partner. Now we can do the work. But again, like it takes a lot of work. And so I'd say it's more likely that people split up nowadays because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to look at themselves. And it's almost like that draining process of like, well, I've just been in this cycle so long that every time I look at you, like all I see is that cycle.
Wow.
And so unfortunately it can be not as, and it's not a therapist's job to be like, I'm going to save your marriage. Like it's their choice ultimately. If they want to make, I can tell them like statistically, it's better for your kids. It's better for your family, but people do what they want to do.
Yeah, people do what they make up their minds to do. So if they already made up their mind they was going to do something, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes people already know what they want. They just drag it out and be like, so they can show that they did the process of trying to make it work, but it didn't work. So then it's the games that we play on each other, on ourselves and on others and stuff like that. These mind fucks.
Yeah.
Somebody will know what they want to do. Somebody will have a whole person waiting on the side, waiting for them to be free. And they'll know, but they'll drag it out through like, counseling and all of this process just so they can be like, yeah, it's not working. I think we're going to get a divorce. When they knew before that they wanted to get a divorce and that they should have did that. So.
Right, exactly. And that they were hiding something usually.
Yeah. What they were hiding was, it's not even wrong. You just don't like that person anymore. See, there's nothing wrong with not liking somebody anymore. Like you just be like, I don't really like you no more. Why would you drag them through that? Like there's no, you got to try to like me. You changed how many
like me.
It's like, think about it like growing up, how many close friends you had that you thought you was going to be friends with them forever, right? And then what happened? You guys grew apart, right? You just didn't, right? It happened.
Yeah. People change and mature, and there's no shaming and making those decisions. Obviously, everybody makes them for their own reasons. Yeah. And
I just think you should just be straight up. Like some people just string people along and it's just like, Like if you're uncomfortable, it shows in your body language. You start to act out. Your behavior changes. Save all of y'all the stress. It's already stressful enough that you feel that way, and you obviously if you're just not coming out like, man, I'm out of here, fuck this shit. You care something about the person, so you're stolen because you don't want to hurt their feelings, but you don't care for them the way that you did before, and you should just be like, yo, I don't really like you like that no more. Like the way I liked you before is not how I like you right now. Like, because then there's no nice way to say it, especially if the person is really into you. Now, if the person is kind of feeling the same way too, and she's like, shit, I thought it was just me. Then it's like, all right, cool. Well, we both sitting here playing ourselves.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It sounds like, yeah, when people just come to that mutual decision of like, this isn't working anymore. And maybe like it's to us, it's not, we don't want to make the choice to continue to pursue it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot too. And I think that, like you said, it's good to be honest about it and not drag the other person along and not pretend or play games or placate the situation, because ultimately that just feels like complete, like more betrayal, you know? It's like,
it's unnecessary.
now I'm just confused because you were doing the therapy, but like you didn't even want to do the therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think, and it's tough though. Like it's super tough. I honestly believe, you know, love's a choice, and it's about like our compatibility. If we get set up from the beginning on like a good way, where like we're friends, we're compatible, you know, we've like vetted each other, we're stable in our own beings, we don't have unhealed baggage that we're coming into the relationship with. If we're checking all those boxes, we've got, you know, a strong like spiritual driven compatibility as well. Like that is going to set the relationship up for success, to where you're going to be able to ride the waves of life without the burnout ripping you apart. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so the problem is though, it's like when we go into the relationship with just like that attraction or the, hey, meet my needs, like there's really no foundation. And so you're right. I think it makes sense that those people would be burnt out. Like eventually it's like, I don't have anything here on my foundation that's making me want to stay here. You know?
Got it. So like, because I know you said you got about 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
So real quick. So do you, how can people like find you in regards to like what you do with everything with the marriage counseling, and you know, how can people reach out to you if they want to? Do you do like online, or is it always in person and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. Right now I've been doing online therapy, but obviously I keep it separate from like modeling and stuff like that, because I don't, and my fitness stuff, because I don't want it to be a conflict of interest. I do mental health coaching with my fitness programs. So they can definitely click the link in my bio. And if they're interested, obviously I am a trained marriage family therapist. So I can't help but use my training. However, I don't call it that when I'm working with clients who are also wanting to do any type of like lifestyle goals of fitness or health. And so that's definitely a way they can get a hold of me. I have on my website, you can click on renearyan.com, can click on the health coaching tab and find my programs there. That's definitely the easiest way. But yeah, so that's one way that I provide for my kids. I'm actually writing a book right now that is really, I hope to be helpful to people someday. And yeah, so that's another thing I'm doing. I like to create stuff. I like to inspire and create and motivate and just be like transparent and honest about things without shaming, because we're all going through it in different ways.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So yo, really quick, the book, you said you created a book, and you're saying that you're hopefully creating it for someone in the future.
Yeah, so I'm writing a book. It's called Needs, and it's a story. It's sort of like it's mostly based on true stories, and there's maybe a little bit of changes in there for confidentiality and just also for the sake of the story. But it's basically about how these dynamics play out, sort of the stuff you and I were just talking about, and how our parents and like the baby boomers, like how they grew up in these dynamics without even knowing it in their relationships, like going into relationships with unmet needs. That's why it's called needs. And how they tried to force the other person to meet their needs, and how it literally led to the demise of relationships, and then how that passed on into their children. And it sort of comes to like multiple people's stories and just like the traumas that people went through, like and ultimately seeing like the purpose for all of that, not just that it was just like, you know, you have this trauma and now it's just such like a downer, like it's not supposed to be meant that way, but more of just like seeing the hope and seeing the beauty that can come of it, seeing the I'd say the revival that can come from relearning those processes by looking back at the past and coming to the future present with a new mindset.
Okay, that makes sense. Got you. Got you.
It's kind of like a logical book, but also that many people could relate to.
Dope. That's dope. Yeah. Real quick, what's going on with your modeling?
So with modeling, I've been with my kids mostly a lot. So I haven't had a ton of time to focus on it, but I really want to inspire and motivate people. I don't want to sexually provoke people. I know that, like you were saying, like a lot of it's just like sex in your face, like every time you open Instagram.
Yeah, the way. But there's a certain way to present it. But yeah, absolutely. Regardless, sex is sex. What is it? Sexism, sexy shit is sexy shit, pretty much.
Right. And I think like for me, I want to make sure there's like a goal behind it. Right. And like, am I just, because obviously it can feel good to like express your body, show your body in ways that feels powerful. But like, I think it's hard not to send the message of like a sexual message when you're showing your body in general, because people are going to pull it and look at it in certain ways. And so you don't really have control over that.
Yeah. I feel like you're trying to make up an excuse just so that you get to some sexy shit. That's what it sounds like. Well, I feel like it has to be a purpose. So as long as you feel good about why you did it, right? As long as you can wrap in your mind, like I'm doing it because you could be as sexy as you want. But if you don't have that concept in your mind, then there's something wrong with it.
Well, I mean, honestly, for real, I think you're right, because I think I was doing that. And I think I was trying to justify like maybe even things that like I knew were for other reasons, but probably like weren't for the goals that I wanted, And it's funny you're saying that, because I really like dived into that part of myself in the past 6 months of like, what message am I really sending? And I realized that like parts of myself were healing from things and expressing myself that way and trying to wrap it up in like a message that was supposed to motivate. And I hope it did motivate some people. And at the same time though, like I was trying to take my body back for myself, and in that process, like make a statement about that. And so now, now that I've done that, I can kind of like push that to the side and really be like a creator, because I feel like my body is, to me, I know a lot of people may think this is strange, but like my body isn't my own. I view it as like God's body. And like, what does God want me to do with this body? Like, does he want me to just be like, look at my body, like healing through my body, like, and like, so like, I'm not quite sure about that, because
I got you.
Remember when
look at my body. She was about to be a Cardi B song, girl. She's talking about my body, look at my body.
Like,
look at my body.
Like every reel though on Instagram right now is just like boobs with like a song.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm really feeling that shit. Like everything. I mean, I liked it when I first seen it, but now I feel like it's too much. So it's just like,
yeah, I'm just like, this is becoming like what's the goal? Just to be like, you're good, you work out, you're hot.
Yeah. And like, it only lasts for like a season. Like now, that's what's gonna happen now. Now watch, in May, it's gonna be some new shit everybody's gonna be doing. And then it's just like new dances that come out. Like when we were younger, it'd be like, oh, it's a new dance. It's the same shit with these fucking reels and stuff like that. monkey see, it's monkey do, man. I say it, but
You're right. And that's the thing. Remember we were talking about the beginning, chasing those new things to keep ourselves filled.
yeah,
And
that's why I feel like it's just no creativity in reality no more. Like everything is just like that quick fix. Like, yo, get it out, hurry up, put it out, do it. And it's just like, damn, man, take your fucking time. Now take your time, don't tell. Doesn't matter if you do it that way. It's like go. It's like, what the fuck?
like he had the silhouette. I gotta get the silhouette with the lights on this
silhouette. Yeah, now after he do the silhouette and get the lights on, I gotta get the LED that goes on the top of the silhouette. Then what I'm gonna do is get the fucking smoke machine.
Take that shit next.
Yeah. I'm gonna get laser beams. The laser beams are gonna shoot out. It's like, damn, it's like, wow, man. It's like, wow, we can take a step back now. I think creativity is just fucked up altogether now, man. Like, make something with some substance. So I think you might be onto something, man. Find a way to sell your body and with some substance. All right, that's the goal. Sell your body with substance.
There's got to be creativity, right? And that's where, like, I get it. People want to bring, like, for me, I was thinking of my mindset, you know, when people see my body as a fitness trainer, they're gonna be like, oh, I want to train with her. And then if she's got mental health stuff tied into that, like, wow, like maybe I'll want to work with her. But ultimately, like, when I got a picture of my body, the followers that I'm getting aren't people that I'd want to work with. They're just people that want to look at my body. And so, like, really just remembering that, like, you know, there's other ways to go about that goal, and knowing that, like, okay, well, there was probably some other reasons of doing it that way. Being creative, expressive, yes. Healing from things, wanting to market things, like maybe all three of those things, but like, let's stop, like you said, slow down, like figure out, like, where are you headed? Because I could do 20,000 different things and it could lead to nowhere, or I could slow down, figure out where I'm going and get off this, like, repetitive train everyone else is on, and focus on that, like, trajectory of like purpose, of passion, of actual, like, inspiration versus just like
yo, hit me up. Yo, when we get off of here, I got some ideas for you. Some serious shit. I got some serious ideas for you. I think hit me up. We gotta talk. Because I see you only got 2 minutes and we gotta wrap up. But But yeah, hit me up, man. I got an idea. I got some ideas.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. And I will talk to you soon.
Yes.